Today, Wednesday. This is actually finishing up week 13, and this is day 36 for Enjoy Computers. Alright, net neutrality is in the news, so we talked about that at the beginning. We defined it, talked about some of the rules that were put in place in terms of equal access and cost for the internet and how that might change. So we're going to talk a little bit about it each day, so it would be good to look up net neutrality and get a little bit of background on that. We talked about decision making and technology and information systems, and then we started we didn't get very far as group work, but we did some work, database management system. And it's almost Thanksgiving. So let's take a look at, we reviewed very briefly the levels of management, levels of information, got our workforce, we got data, and we moved that data through. We take data, make it information, and for different people within an organization to make decisions. Okay? As we move up, we have less people in the organization, and we take the data and summarize and break it down into information that's useful at some level of management. That's why they call it a MIS system, Management Information System. In the data, we talk about relational databases. Let me add an R in front of there. Relational databases, and we talk about tables and how they relate together. And we're going to look at some examples. Some examples on Monday. So, we make decisions. We talked about 3 different kinds. People have to make decisions, or computers make decisions. Structured decisions are the type that a computer can make. For example, I grade individual items for a student, and then the computer can figure out whether they get an A, a B, an A minus, or whatever. The computer can figure that out. That's a structured decision. I do not have to go in and figure that out by hand. Technology can do that. There is no human rationale or reasoning with that, if you have certain cutoffs for grades. Semi-structured, maybe an instructor can go in and adjust the grade a little bit based on some subjective quality measure instead of quantitative, more of a quality evaluation maybe. Non-structured are decisions that are made that are hard for computers to make because there's no clear-cut answer to the decision. And we talk about, in business world, okay, we can talk about, all kinds of things here in terms of deciding which products you're going to carry, what color, what you're going to have on the sales floor, how you arrange the sales floor. Technology and data can help, but there's a lot of things. Who you marry could be a non-structured decision. Maybe it has to do with a whole lot more than some of the data you would have about somebody or whatever. Okay, this will make sense as we continue to study information system unit. We briefly talked about top-down design, and we did not talk about bottom-up yet. I did the example in class. We'll talk about the example in class here of checks. Let's just say writing checks. When people write checks, the issue the people have with taking a check could have to do if there is enough money to cover the check, right? And people used to do that. They'd write a check on Thursday knowing they're going to get paid on Friday and hope the check doesn't clear before they get their paycheck in the bank. Well, that turns out to be a problem for checks that bounce, so we created debit cards or other ways of paying other than checks. And there are a lot of ways nowadays, even Bitcoins, PayPal, and so forth. So in terms of that would be an information system that's changed. Instead of moving the information with a check, we now do it digitally in some fashion. Okay. So you identify if you have a problem or something you want to solve or something you want to do differently. And then, we'll just keep moving here. Then you analyze the problem, make sure you understand it. Then you can design a solution, develop the solution, start building the information system or whatever you're doing to solve the problem. You implement it, and then you evaluate and see if it's working. We are going to talk about the specifics of these a little more on Monday. Okay? And we'll talk about some things known as feedback. You analyze and get feedback before you actually move on to the design. Okay? And we can use a real-life example like building a house, how you do it. Bottom up, you do some of these stages quickly and then create a prototype. So you create a prototype and then you test it. More on that later. We talked about in actually doing the databases, we did ad hoc queries in which we just found a piece of data just to get an answer. And then we started building queries that we stored. That makes sense? We actually saved them so we can go back to them later. Ad hocs, you don't do that. We did a problem in which we did a calculation. We found GPA, by taking the quality points divided by the credits, and we did that together. You calculate the GPA. So, right now, we should be focusing on, let me do it here. We should be working on the assignment. Assignment number 5. I'm going to move the due date back on that a little bit. So we should be working on assignment number 5 and the unit 7 outline. Alright. That's it. Happy Thanksgiving.